Welcome to Watchman Review and the fifth video in this series titled Prophecy, Part 1. Together we will catch a glimpse of what lies ahead for all of humanity. Should we concern ourselves with prophecy? Jesus said, "And behold, I am coming quickly. Blessed is he who heeds the words of the prophecy of this book." Revelation 22:7. Biblical texts were written by different sources at different times, often unaware of each other, yet somehow the stories always connect and confirm one another. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that God loves numbers and patterns? He does. Watch.
So not only is it the 70th Jubilee, it's the 40th, also the 40th from Jesus, which is an important number, and it's the 120th Jubilee from Adam. All three of those, and that'll never happen again. The 120th, the 70th, and the 40th, all in the same Jubilee. So if he doesn't come on that Jubilee, then the next one will be the 121st, the 71st, and the 41st. This doesn't compute. I think the 70th Jubilee is on the horizon, and I think we're going to be out of here. I think the world's coming to an end, and as we know it, and the kingdom age is coming in. The old-timers knew this. I've got quotes in the book from men who wrote way back in 300 AD, 100 AD, 1500 AD. They all said the world will endure for 6,000 years and then the end. I got all kinds of quotes from the old-timers. They understood.
What about the Jubilee, the Feast of Trumpets, and the Jewish Holy Year of 5777? The Jews are looking for their Messiah to come this year, you realize.
Next year, which is now, we're starting now, we are going to get into the year, the Hebrew year on God's calendar is the year 5717. 5 is the number of grace. 777, I think you know, triple completion. May mean the completion of the age of grace. Also, we don't tend to write our years fully, neither do the Jews. They abbreviate it, so they don't usually say the 5, because it's always 5. 5 starts with 5,000. So they drop that, so the year on their system is the year 777. I mean, if God is into numbers and if he likes patterns and prophetic things, which he evidently does, it's going to be the year 777, starting now. The year of the Messiah according to the Jews. Now, unfortunately, for the Jews who don't yet believe the New Testament and that the Messiah came the first time, they're going to be looking for the wrong Messiah.
The cosmos is simply God's big clock, giving signs and wonders as a way to communicate. So, is anything happening in the cosmos? Jupiter has entered the belly of Virgo. Is this important? Is this event in prophecy?
Now a great sign appeared in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. This does not refer to a woman floating through the sky. The simplest, most literal interpretation of this is the constellation Virgo, which will have the sun at her head, the moon at her feet, and 12 stars, 9 from the constellation Leo, and a conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and Venus on her head. That makes 12 stars on the 23rd of September, 2017. Remember that date, 23rd of September, 2017. Remember. Now, how rare is this? Well, this hasn't happened before in our lifetime. In fact, the last time it happened was 5,932 years ago, and that would be on our Gregorian calendar, the 5th of August, the year 3915 BC. Roughly the time when Adam and Eve walked the earth. Let's map it out. You know that we've talked about the 4 blood moons plus the other 2 eclipses. All right, the 4 blood moons started on Passover, 15th of April, 2014. And 2 days before this great sign of the woman in the sky, clothed with the sun in her hair, the moon at her feet, garland of 12 stars by her head. Right, 2 days before that is the Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Trumpets is, we just learned, prophetically, the next thing Jesus will fulfill. He fulfilled 4 feasts. The next feast, the 5th feast, he must fulfill. The next event should be the resurrection of the dead and the rapture of the saints. So if it were to happen, it should happen on the Feast of Trumpets. Next Feast of Trumpets will start, there's a 2-day leeway, 20 to 22nd of September. If you count those 2 dates, the distance between those 2 dates, anyone want to guess the distance between those 2 dates? From the first lunar eclipse, blood moon, to the Feast of Trumpets next year, 2017, there are, you know this number, Isaac Newton cared about it. Lots of other godly people tried to calculate it. 1,260 days. I'm not making this up. You punch it in the calculator. This is written in the skies. Jupiter would normally just pass right through. But next year, when Jupiter enters, from November this year, Jupiter will go round and round and round and round like a little baby and will not exit the womb of Virgo until this sign is fulfilled. Strange. Strange things. Look up, Jesus said. When all these things happen, he said, look up. Wonder why he said that. Satan's seed is the dragon. And I would say right now it's the unknown object. Nobody knows. We know there's another element to this prophecy, but we're not sure. And many people are calling it Planet X. I think that's a valid conjecture because somebody, some other planet came during the time of Jesus' crucifixion and blocked the sun for 3 hours. The moon cannot block the sun for even 8 minutes. 7 minutes and maybe like 30 seconds is max. Another object blocked the sun when Jesus was crucified. So there's a celestial sign at Jesus' birth. There's a celestial sign at Jesus' crucifixion, and we believe there's a celestial sign at the next appointed time, which should be the rapture and the start of the tribulation. And then bruising the head and him bruising the heel is very interesting because if you put these things as an interpretation of things going on in astronomy in the sky, that would mean the top side of an unknown object collides with the southern hemisphere of Jupiter, resulting in a stream of debris.
We have already witnessed the 4 blood moons, and on August 21st of this year, 2017, the U.S. will experience a total solar eclipse running from Oregon to South Carolina. And get this, there will be another one in 7 years, creating a giant X across the U.S. Is biblical wormwood the mythical planet X we keep hearing about? Does it exist? If so, would this prove prophecy in motion?
As a scientist, he's making a prediction. Now, NASA has reported on this back in the 80s, back in the 90s, and then they went silent. Voyager 1, Voyager 2, and then I think some other one, but at least those two, they were sent out exactly where this planet X is presumed to be. So the conspiracy guys got a lot to work on here because we're expecting something coming from that direction, and that's exactly where we sent 2 of our space probes into the limits of the solar system. Now, if you spend billions of dollars on space probes, I think you better pick which side of the solar system you're going to send this thing out to. And they sent it towards Planet X. So it's a real concern. Is there something coming, or has it already entered our solar system that we know? And this is what's triggering a lot of the changes around the planets, including our earthquakes, sinkholes, and magnetic changes, North Pole moving around a lot. Is this all happening because of Planet X?
You know, and there's also speculation now, and I hadn't heard this until about a year ago, that not only is Planet X going to come our way, this dwarf star, but also a bunch of planets with it, like it's bringing in its own solar system. Is there evidence or truth to that?
Right. There's a number of videos there. I've seen some real good ones from the South Pole Telescope, and they indicate that there are a variety of moons around this. It's basically, as you say, it's its own solar system. A lot of people don't realize this, but binary, what we've got in our solar system here is obviously a binary twin. 76%, this is a fact, of all stars are binary twins. In fact, 16% are trinary twins. There are 3 suns, but ours has a binary companion, and it comes under the name of Planet X, Nibiru, and so forth, Nemesis. There are various names to it. But ours has a binary twin, and it's very common. It's extremely common, and it's basically what is approaching us. And apparently, from all descriptions, indications, reports, insider reports, photographs, and other sources of human and signal intelligence, it contains 5 to 7 moons around it. So it's a solar system approaching our solar system, which makes it extremely dangerous. The red dragon of Revelation 12 may well be, and I believe rather obviously is Planet X, is its reveal at that point, that week, in my opinion, the week of October 5th to 12th. According, if the book of Revelation is true, because this ties in perfectly with it, that could well be the exact month that we can first see it with the naked eyes. Global warming, as you've heard, I'm sure, is a cover story. The Earth is heating up from the core outward because of the approach of Planet X. During the 20th century, I think there were 35 volcanic eruptions in a typical year. Now there are more than 35 of these every single day.
It's coming, it's going to hit us hard. And there's going to be 200-mile-an-hour winds. And there's going to be massive tidal waves and earthquakes.
They claim, according to special operations, four-star generals, that literally it causes a person to go to pieces.
I'll throw 2017 out, and you can take that to the bank.
The Bible specifically notes birthing pains before the end days. That would mean natural disasters, right? So taking a quick glance at Google, we notice that in the 1970s, the average number of earthquakes per day around the world averaged a little over 10. Fast forward 30 years later, and that number has increased fourfold. The magnitude is increasing as well. That's very concerning. Still looking at Google, we also notice that the number of volcanic eruptions since the 1950s has since tripled. Already in the first 3 months of 2017, we have experienced massive animal deaths.
Are you serious? Get some coffee and calm down. But the animals are dying. The mass animal deaths. The biblical prophetic revelation that dead birds, dead fish, dead cows, and even people would die, according to Zephaniah. We're in a situation that we cannot look. It's insane. And how can this not be a mainstream media story? Unbelievable. Matter of fact, we're in the middle of March, and we've already had 128 mass animal deaths in 44 countries.
No one really knows the exact number of people on the brink of starvation in the world today. We just know that that number is really high, and most of it's due to famine. And what's going on with the sudden appearance of sinkholes around the world?
Footage from South Korea captures two people falling into a sinkhole. Watch this. The sidewalk just suddenly collapsed right under their feet. They fell nearly 10 feet, but only suffered minor injuries. Wow.
I guess the whole thing is gonna fall in. Like, see, all of it's going.
That looked like that whirlpool over there got a little bit bigger when that happened.
According to NASA and the AMA, the number of meteors entering Earth's atmosphere from 2005 to 2010 was on an average of about 500 per year. By 2015, that number has jumped to over 9,000 and has been increasing since.
We've got all kinds of problems. I don't. But then BP told us about the asteroid that's coming. What? The asteroid, 2012 TC4. NASA found it 5 years ago. They said it was coming right toward us, but that it was going to miss us by 59,000 miles. Well, now it's close. It's coming October 12th, 2017. It's coming. And now scientists are telling us, whoops, it's not going to miss us by 59,000 miles. Right now, our calculation shows it missing us by 4,000 miles, and the gravitational pull is going to pull it in. And the question is, does it hit us or not? Or how close does it end up being? BP is all over it. He just broke this information out, of course, yesterday in a video. The scientists have charts and graphs and models, computerized models. This is serious. We're going to talk about it today. And that's just a few days. So you got the solar eclipse on August the 21st, the Great American Eclipse, which I know is a sign from heaven. 33 days later, you have the great wonder in heaven, which is found in your Bible in Revelation chapter 12. We've been waiting 2,000 years for that to happen. That's happening September 23rd, which is the Feast of Trumpets, by the way. 7 days later is the Yom Kippur, which is September 30th. And then 12 days later, this asteroid misses or hits or whatever it does. And what's it bringing with it? How close is it? How close? What? Satellites are 20,000 miles circling the Earth. This thing's coming in within 4,000 and being pulled by the gravitational pull. Is anybody listening to me?
Within the book of Revelation and within numerous other prophetic biblical books, it is stated over and over that there will be meteors during the end times. In fact, one of the first events to look for will be the arrival of deadly debris from the heavens. What about those weird, unexplained sounds in the sky that people have been hearing?
Sacamaus.
I don't know if the phone's picking it up. It's weird.
So now that we have an idea of what to expect from natural disasters, let's take a look at man-made catastrophes predicted in the Bible by viewing our next video, Prophecy Part 2. You can view these and other related videos on our website at www.watchmanreview.com. Thank you for watching.